What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another weekly news video. We'll kick things off quickly by talking about this Paul Skeens 1 of 1 that's sold on Fanatics Collect for $1.1 million. I think this is a pretty cool sale. I want to share my thoughts on why that is the case in a little bit. Some people will probably push back on me for saying that, but I'll explain why I'm excited in a second. We'll then talk about a scam that I don't know how pervasive it actually is, how much this is actually happening, but it's fooled ComC and it's fooled eBay's authenticity guarantee, and it's one I want to bring to your attention so you guys can be more aware of it and try and avoid being scammed in the future. I sort of ummed and ahed about basically putting that video out, talking about this topic, because I didn't want to bring too much attention to it, but I think, for the greater good, we should be talking about it. We'll then close things off with a pretty cool question asked by This Cardboard Life on Instagram that I want to put to each of you for your responses down in the comments below, and then I'll talk about a future video with a pretty cool pickup on the way. So stay tuned. We'll jump into the detail as always, and then go from there. Now, like I sort of said, the first thing I want to talk about is this Paul Skeens rookie debut patch 1 of 1 that's sold on Fanatics Collect overnight for $1.1 million USD, of which included the buyer's premium. This is a verified purchase by Fanatics Collect. And what sort of happened after this thing being verified was pretty interesting, because it wasn't just bought by any, wealthy collector or any random person within the hobby. It was actually purchased by Dick's Sporting Good, and they intend, shouldn't have clicked that link, but they intend to display it at their House of Sports store in Pittsburgh, i.e. make it a bit of a tourist attraction for fans of the Pirates or just fans of this card in general, which I think is pretty cool. Now, some people are sort of pushing back on this because they think it's a marketing attempt or some kind of, marketing ploy to sort of pump up these cards. And you've got that obviously business relationship between Dick's Sporting Goods and Fanatics through their apparel business. But I'm sort of looking past that. Maybe I need to look into that a little bit more. But the reason why I'm excited about this or think it's good for the hobby is that it's making it a little bit more legitimate, right? It's making the hobby a little bit more mainstream when it comes to, common folks' attention. We've spoken about cards for so long and how, we know cards are cool. We like to collect cards. But if you want this hobby to truly grow and you sort of want it to be picked up and you want it to be sort of investment grade for people chasing it, and you want it to sort of be something that you can sort of feel safe putting your money into and not just collecting down the line, then it needs to be legitimized, right? And we've spoken also about how the businesses in this space, the manufacturers, the graders, etc., often don't do a good enough job to sort of legitimize the hobby, right? They sort of charge us an arm and a leg to get us to pay for the things that we need to pay for, but then they go ahead and give us crap service. The fact that you've got a company like Dick's going ahead and spending this kind of money and trying to make it a tourist attraction, and then off the back of this, you're probably going to have more businesses trying to do the same thing, is a good thing, because it's bringing more eyes to it, it's bringing more expectations, and then off the back of expectation, I sort of expect to see more accountability from the people that operate in this industry, right? The manufacturers, the graders, and any other business trying to make money in trading cards, right? If you've got a business spending $1.1 million, they're going to expect some things from the future, right? They're not going to allow for things to slide, or at least I hope so. Maybe that's a bit of a pipe dream from me, and maybe I need to look into this, relationship a little bit more, but I think this is a legitimate thing for the hobby, and I think the more legitimate things at the back of it, the better it is. Now, fundamentally, I don't care about the values of my cards. Inherently, I kind of do, because I like the fact that I can spend money and get my money back if I ever need to. But I'm primarily here to collect. But for the people out there that want to make the hobby, long-term investments and all that kind of thing, I think this is fantastic news for them. What this means for us as common folk collectors, who knows? Like, is this going to push things more mainstream, like I just alluded to, meaning that we're going to get priced out even further than what we are right now, or the focus of the manufacturers and the graders is going to go further away from collectors and more into these flippers and investors? Who knows? But I like to think maybe things can be balanced. But again, maybe, I'm off base with that comment. I want to hear what you guys have to say on this one down below. I think it's interesting, and I hope we sort of see more of it. Like I said, we need more legitimate businesses spending their money in this industry if we want it to become more mainstream. And I sort of want the hobby to be as big as possible, because the more people you have collecting cards, the more exciting it is, right? I remember the days when nobody gave a shit about cards, and I like the fact that it's more popular now and it's more mainstream, because off the back of that, businesses have the opportunity to give us more value. Now, to date, they've not really done that as well as they could have, but innovations like these debut patches I think are really cool. It's not going to mean anything for me because I'm never going to be able to afford one, but I think like the cool things that are coming, are good. Topps obviously has a lot to work on, as I've talked about many times, but it is what it is. I want to hear your thoughts down below. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is a pretty interesting story that I saw on Twitter this morning. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this because I was worried that it would make it more mainstream and maybe more people would go ahead and try and scam off the back of this. But essentially, this individual over here purchased a Shohei Ohtani rookie card. I think it's from Top Stadium Club, if I remember correctly. Yes, Stadium Club Chrome. And what they sort of found out was they thought they were buying a refractor, and through this video that I'm about to play for you, they worked out that somebody who's gone ahead and laminated some kind of rainbow foil over the top of the base card. So I'm going to play for you now. You guys see for yourself, and then we'll come back in a sec. So I'm not going to play the audio for you. I was going to do that, but then it just didn't work. But you can sort of see here the guy's talking about it. He's saying that he took it out of the eBay Authenticity pack and he was inspecting the card and noticed something pretty strange. He said he was basically looking at the card. He noticed some bubbles on the front. I'll put the link down below for you guys to watch this in your own time. But there's bubbles on the front, and then on the back, it's even more noticeable with regard to the bubbles itself. And then towards the end of this, he starts peeling the lamination off. So what this guy is suspecting by looking at it is that somebody's gone ahead and taken the base card and laminated some kind of refractor over the top. And to sort of make this, more concerning, more alarming, is like you saw in that intro, or the very start of the video, there was an eBay Authenticity guarantee over this card. And not just that, this card was actually also purchased through ComC. So ComC would have had to inspect it before going ahead and listing it as well. So, it's been missed by ComC, and it's also been missed by eBay's Authenticity guarantee. Now, we've got a response over here from ComC, which I think is really good. They're basically saying you can go ahead and return it to us because it's a fraudulent card. We're going to look into it for you, which I think is really good on them. So he's going to reach out. But there's some questions here straight off the bat around the legitimacy of this story and sort of the timing of things. So like you can sort of see, the sale occurred in August of last year. It was delivered to him in September. And right before recording, I saw this question being posed by Neo in the comments, Neo Cards and Comics, that he sort of had the card since 2014 and he's only asking it now. And what the person who originally posted this is saying, well, they kept it in the eBay case until today. They've only just gone ahead and inspected it and then gone from there. Now, Neo's again asked a very good question. Which of the centers, because eBay Authenticity Guarantee goes to 2 locations, where did this one go to? We don't have a definitive answer yet, but it's one to look into. It's one that's pretty concerning because, if this is something that's good enough to fool ComC and fool, eBay's Authenticity Guarantee, how many more are out there that people have missed? Now, the one comfort I will take is this guy, as he's recording, he's calling out how dodgy it looks, right? He's saying you can see the bubbles in there. It doesn't look right. He clued onto it really quickly once he looked at the card quite closely, which then begs the question, what the heck is eBay doing? What the heck is ComC doing to miss it for themselves? And yeah, I'm a bit concerned about this. I don't know how pervasive it is. I don't know how many are out there. I'm worried that me putting out this video is going to make people go ahead and try and do the same thing and try and scam others. But this is the kind of shithousery that's occurred for a long time in this hobby. People trying to look for that edge, people trying to look for that extra dollar. And, it sucks because in this case, this person has gone ahead and done the right things. They've bought it from ComC. They've bought it from eBay knowing it's going through the guarantee program, and they've still been let down. Now, obviously, eBay's guarantee won't apply to them anymore because they've taken it out of the packaging, and eBay's policy is pretty clear. If it's opened from the packaging, you've basically void the guarantee. You've given up all rights. So eBay's not going to look after him. So it's fantastic to see, like I said, that ComC is over here. But just be very vigilant, guys. Be very careful. Like I said, I didn't want to talk about this because I was scared people are going to sort of see this and try and do it for themselves. But there are more honest people out there than not. So by me getting this out there, maybe 1,000 people see it, 2,000 people see it. You guys go tell your friends, point them towards this video, and maybe somebody else is not going to get fooled if they go ahead and see one at a show or see one on eBay, or they're going to be a bit careful. So yeah, I'm rambling. I want to see what ComC do off the back of this. I want them to look into who submitted this to them because that's incredibly dodgy and one of those things that we need to be very careful of. So again, let me know your thoughts down below. Please share this video to show this topic because it's one of those ones that could be nothing, but it could be something, right? There could be millions of them out there. There could be, this is the only one. I don't believe that. I believe there would be more if somebody's gone to that much trouble. But please be vigilant. Please be careful. And yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, the second last thing I want to talk to today is this question over here from This Cardboard Life. You can't see the full thing, which is annoying. But what he's saying is, what's the one card in your collection you're taking to your grave? I had to think about this for quite a long time because there's not, a whole lot that I probably would. I've talked about this on the channel before, I've always been a collector my whole life. I've collected things. You can see a stack of shit behind me. I collect anything and everything. Cards have always been something close to my heart, but they've always been something that's, not worth much, right? And I've never seen, a lot of value tied to them. So if it's going to be a card of value, like I've seen a lot of people talking in the comments about, and I don't know why I pointed because you guys can't see it anymore, But there isn't really anything of value that I ever keep, right? There's never going to be an expensive card that I'm like, yes, I'm going to take that to my grave. The fact that cards can be worth that kind of money or worth thousands of dollars has always been insane to me. So when it comes to cards being of value, they're going to be gone the second I can sell them, if I ever need to sell them, right? The kind of cards I'd keep would be the cards that I've had since I was a kid. You know, my original Pokemon cards, my rugby league cards from back then, the things that really aren't worth all that much these days. There'd be cards that I've hit from boxes that I've done with my wife. Again, invaluable Pokemon cards, to be honest. Probably one that I will keep forever is the year my daughter was born, actually, my wife bought me a box of Mosaic Euro 2020, and I actually hit an Italian player in that, and I see that comes up on the camera, but I got an order of Alessandro Nesta, who was an Italian legend. I got that in the box. So that was like a Christmas gift from my wife. To hit that was pretty cool, so I'll keep that forever. There's another card here, like of Andrea Pirlo. I know I said I really wouldn't be keeping cards of value, but I bought this recently. I funded it through a bunch of other cards that I sold for profit, so technically it didn't cost me anything, but this is the kind of card that I'd probably keep long term, even though I'm denied about selling it. But yeah, I want to know what you guys have down below that you think you'd keep forever, irrespective of value or anything like that. What's the one card you're taking to your grave? It's just interesting concept for me, because I don't have that attachment to things. I'm an out and out collector, but in my mind, I'm so detached from them as one. That sounds weird, probably a bit of an oxymoron, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. Like, I don't look at my collection through value. I've made that pretty clear for a long time, and some people have been confused in recent months when I've talked about that. But I don't see cards as being something that can be valued. So whenever I've had something, of value or something that's rare or scarce, it's like, yeah, I'd like to keep it. But then I think about what the money could do for the family, what the money could do for other things. It could help me fund other cards for my PC. So when it comes to that kind of stuff, rare and scarce stuff, yeah, I'm happy to let them go if I need to. But fundamentally, it's going to be the things that I've had as a kid, right? The stuff that has the memories, or, cards that people have gifted to me and the like. But, it's probably those two that I just showed you. There's another card that I haven't, shown off on the channel yet, that is also from this set. That is a soulless, flawless soul of the game, of a Chelsea legend. I'm going to show you guys in a coming video. That's probably one that I'll keep forever as well. So yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts down below on what the card is you'd keep. I probably just rambled a heck of a lot to say I'm going to keep the cards that I've had since I was a kid, or cards that people have gifted to me. I'm going to repeat myself again. I find it odd that cards can be worth crazy amounts of money these days. It was odd to me to see so many people in the comments say, hey, I'm going to keep this $10,000 card because I think it's going to be going up in value down the line. Like, that's okay if you want to do that too, but fundamentally, that's not how I look at cards. Now, I sort of said in that intro, the last thing I wanted to talk about was a pretty cool pickup. It was not the card that I just alluded to when I showed this one off. It's actually not card related. I'm not going to give you guys the full details. You probably won't like the video because it's not card related. But the one thing I will say is you probably haven't seen this since 1885, and maybe you get the hint based on what's behind me in the shelf. But stay tuned for the next video, because I'm going to try and do a pretty cool unboxing. So anyway, it is what it is. Thank you for watching today, guys. Please share this. Please like it. Leave some comments. Let me know thoughts on each of the 3 topics we talked about today. And I'll see you guys and girls in the next one. Cheers.